This is a super gigantic pencil, so I'm going to select all, and then I'm going to scale by typing S, and then I'm going to do 0.1. I'll type period to zoom in, and G, and then Y to move it up along the Y-axis. And I'll type the decimal point, which is the number pad period, as that says. And now I'm going to look. You know what I'm going to do now? I am going to look at this from the front, and I'm going to say rotate along the x-axis 90 degrees. So type R, then type X, then type 90 on the numbers that are above the keyboard. Now, looking at this from the top, turning that limit selection off, you'll see that this line, we don't have a ring loop that goes all the way through the pencil. If we look down at the other end of the pencil, our edge does not connect here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to edge selection mode, right click that, do Control E, and say rotate edge clockwise. Then I'm going to alt right click again, and we have an edge that goes all the way around. Now that I've done that, I really only want to select half of it. So I'm going to type C, and then I'm going to alt left click on the edges that I don't want selected. Then hit escape, and then you can scroll down here and say mark seam, and you'll see that we've got a red seam, and that's one of the cuts that we'll make when we unwrap it. Now we're going to make quite a few. Let's rotate just a little bit, alt right click around the base of the eraser, and again click mark seams. Alt right click there. You can also do Control E, select mark seam. Let's look at this from the front, pan down, zoom in, alt right click, Control E. Notice Blender remembers your location of your selection. Alt right click, Control E, and now we should be able to unwrap. Let's go ahead and save this. I'm going to put the mouse over here. I'm going to type plus on my number pad. Save Blender file. Now let's left click and drag to the left to create another window. Make it a UV image editor window. Mouse back over here, select all by typing A twice. Type U to unwrap. Now we have our parts of our pencil. So let's arrange these. I can mouse wheel in a little. Type A to deselect. And now let's type L to select just this group. That's our eraser. And then the tip of our pencil. And the wood. And this part, since it has such fine lines in it, I'm going to scale this up a little so that we have some information in here, a little more information. And really, I'll type B and S to scale. I'm going to bring these up. There's no reason to keep those small. I can also type L and then R to rotate. Try and fit this in. L. I'm going to rotate that down this way, maybe scale that up just a little bit more. L. And B to select all of these, and type S to scale X along the X. Oh, hit escape. See where our 2D cursor is down here. I want to scale from that point. So I'm going to type period on your keyboard, not on the number pad, and it'll scale from the cursor. So I'll type S, and then along the x-axis, I'm just going to widen it a little bit. Now, before I forget, I'm going to switch back to scaling from the median point. That's the normal way. I'll create a new image, make it a UV grid, 32-bit, OK. Mouse wheel out. I'll give ourselves a little bit more room here. Drag this over. Let's call this pencil color. Enter. And then you'll see there's an asterisk here. We're going to want to save this as an external image, so I'll do save as image. Pencil color PNG, save as image. Now we'll make a material. I'll call that pencil. And on this material, we'll have a texture. It's going to be an image texture. In fact, I'm going to call this texture pencil. In fact, maybe what I'll do is I'll call this pencil color, because we'll have more than one texture on it. And I'm going to select the pencil color. And I'm going to say the mapping is using UV coordinates. It's going to use our UV map. It's over here. Move this back. And now A to deselect all. I'm going to go to face selection mode. Type B and select the faces. Then I'm going to switch over to texture paint and click on this button. So then the selected faces in edit mode are now the selected faces in the texture paint mode, and it's allowing us to paint only within those selected. That's what that button does. Let me get a nice pencil-y color. I'll paint it, and you'll see it's not quite 100% opaque, so I'll increase my strength to 1. I'll turn off pressure sensitivity, paint down here. We can also switch this window. Let's middle mouse button click and drag over here to paint, and we've got we can paint in this window. In fact, I can type F and make my brush larger, paint down here. Of course, it's fun to paint in 3D. So now I'll type 1 to look at it from the front, and Shift B, tab into edit mode, B to select this. Actually, A to deselect all, B, I'm just going to select right in here. B, right in there. So that way we have these top faces selected as well. It'll make it easier for painting. We could have created edges and separated those two if we wanted to. Control 1 to look at the back. Let's rotate a little bit to get in here. Rotate to get in there. And from the front, let's look down. Back up again. Tab, deselect those. Now I want to select the areas that I'm going to make green, which I'll select this and be actually I want these two. Make sure I didn't get the top. There we go. There we go. Tab out. You know what? I'm going to switch over here to my material, scroll down, make it shadeless for now. And let's give this a green. Dark green, because it's dark green on my pencil. Control 1, go to the other side. I should tilt this down and paint on the tops. Tilt this up, paint there. Go back to the front, tilt it down. Paint there. Tilt up. There we go. Pretty good. Looks like we got most of it. Let's go over to this window, do Shift Spacebar to maximize it. Let's scroll in with the mouse wheel, and Shift middle mouse button, F, bring this down. This is a soft edged brush right now. I'd like a hard edged brush, so I'm going to open this up. Scroll down here, and for my paint curve, let's expand that. And let's do a hard edge. So this, if we were to click, you can see that's a hard edge circle. Let's undo that. And it's okay that we're outside lines there. And I want this yellow, so I'll type S to sample it. I have to bring my cursor down a little bit more. I know, I really would like to get in closer. S, sample that. Anywhere I see that grid showing through, I know that I didn't get it as well as I liked. Alright. Now, here's the tip of the pencil. While we're here, might as well paint that. I'll click on this color with my left mouse button, switch to HSV, pull all the saturation out, make it a middle gray color, like a tip of the pencil, maybe a little bit darker. F to bring my mouse, my cursor size, paintbrush size. Now the wood of the pencil, that's kind of a sort of a beige color. Alright, and then the eraser is kind of a reddish, dark reddish. Alright. Shift Space and take a look at our pencil. That's looking pretty good. Important thing to know is that this image needs to be saved again. So we'll just do Save Image. And then the file, I'm going to go ahead and save an iteration of this file. I'll do Save As. I'll hit the plus again. Now let's make a normal map. First I'm going to turn my shading back to having shade. We'll switch to object mode. Render the texture. And our lighting is not the best, but let's right click on the light. Move that over here. In the front. There we go. And we could also switch to GLSL rendering. Type N to hide that again to give ourselves some room. And over here I'm going to type N, and then I'm going to say let's do a new image. This one I'm going to make it white. Okay. Select the pencil with a right click, tab to enter edit mode, select all. We should really go over to the texture, create a new texture. This is also going to be an image texture. I'm going to call this pencil normal, because it's going to be in the normal map. I'll select this one that's called Untitled. I'm going to call this pencil normal. The mapping is going to be UV. It's going to be our UV map. We're not going to affect the colors. We're going to affect the normals. We'll switch back to texture paint mode. I don't want this on anymore. And now I'm going to switch to just a gray color, light gray. I want my brush to have a nice curve again, so I'll switch that here. So I'll have a nice fall off, soft edged brush. Let's zoom in, F to scale the brush down a little bit more, and then let's left click and paint. So there we got a nice tooth mark. It's a little bit deep, so I'm going to do undo. Let's make this a lighter color. Still kind of deep. Let's bring the strength down too. That's a little better. We can rotate the pencil around a little bit. Change the size of this. We don't want this to look too symmetrical. There you go, some nice bite marks on our pencil. You can alter the impact of this. Notice if it went to negative, it pushes it out. There you go. why don't we, while we're here, we have to do save as image, because this is the first time we're saving it. And then let's do a save as. That's pencil 4. Now let's add a map that affects specularity. You can see that this eraser has some shine to it, but the eraser I'm looking at is pretty matte, pretty not shiny at all. So to do that, we can go into our textures again, new, pencil, specular, image. We'll create a new image for that, and we're going to start out with it white. Okay. This is going to be the pencil specular image. And UV mapping. We're going to affect the specular color. So now you can see that it already disappeared there. So let's make sure we've got our pencil thought I made it white, but we can fix that real easily. So let's type in, bring our brush up here, type in again, F to make it really big. Let's scroll out. Our brush is not very strong. Let's make it totally strong. There we go. In our eraser, we actually wanted that to be not shiny at all, so it could be black or really dark gray. So let's make it a dark gray. Let's make this a hard brush. It'll be easier to color inside the lines. And I'm going to go shift space, scale up. I have to bring this down a little bit. Here we go. Shift space. Let's tab out of here. You can see it's got a little bit of sheen, but the rest of the pencil's nice and shiny. And really this wood part, that's not very shiny either. So, but the graphite has a little more shine. So I'll go ahead and add to specular map S to sample. I just don't want to have that bleed over. There we go. And again, let's do save as image. Enter specular ping, save. And then let's save our document.